Community volunteers dig in, literally.
We'll give you an update on zoning in Tacoma.
And have you heard of Prindle? We'll fill you in.
These stories and more coming up next on Tacoma Report. Hi, I'm Angie Foster.
And I'm Laura Proctor. An exciting event is coming up that offers residents the chance to engage with city departments, explore career opportunities, and take part in interactive hands-on activities. Stacey Elliford has more details on this free community event.
Back again in 2024 is the T-Town City Services Expo and Job Fair at the Tacoma Dome on November 1st and 2nd. This event offers an opportunity for residents to play, explore, learn, and work.
Now, this year's T-Town Expo is a fantastic opportunity for all of Tacoma to engage with city departments to see how they provide responsive and reliable operations to support our community's needs. Throughout the free event, guests will have the opportunity to participate in live demonstrations and family-friendly activities, talk with city leaders about the 25-26 budget, and learn all about how city departments are working toward greater transparency and trust in their services.
Additionally, a trades and hiring fair will be held at the Tacoma Dome Exhibition Hall on both days, providing job opportunities for both youth and adults.
We're also excited to welcome back our partners with Tacoma Public Schools and Corsmo Construction for the second Trades and Hiring Career Fair in the Exhibition Hall. Students and adults alike will be able to explore opportunities in a diverse range of career paths in the skilled trades.
Alongside the participating city departments, approximately 100 exhibitors will be featured at the Trades and Hiring Fair. These exhibitors will represent local companies, educational institutions, and apprenticeship programs across various industries, including maritime, transportation, logistics, and construction.
With almost 2,000 students attending the Friday session of the Expo, we also have resources highlighting Tacoma Public Schools programs like Jobs 253 and the Try-A-Trade activities where students and job seekers alike can test out the various trades to see if they might be a fit.
This event will also feature fun activities for the whole family, offering interactive experiences for everyone to enjoy.
This year's event introduces a new element we're calling Truck or Treat. It's a fun twist on a Touch-A-Truck event where attendees can enjoy trick-or-treating in the Tacoma Dome Arena while visiting the different city departments. Family-friendly costumes are encouraged as participants explore trucks, plows, and other big rigs from departments like Tacoma Rail, Public Works, Tacoma Police, and Tacoma Fire.
Throughout the day, activities such as Play-Doh creations for the Puget Sound Orca habitat and the popular Public Works Traffic Garden will captivate guests, along with many other engaging experiences.
And to ensure that all of our community has access to this fantastic event, we're hosting a sensory safe hour on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for individuals who prefer a reduced sensory stimulation.
Mark your calendars for November 1st from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and November 2nd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for this event that aims to showcase services and engage residents of all ages. For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacey Elliford.
Free parking will also be available at the Tacoma Dome for the T-Town City Services Expo and Job Fair. All the event details are posted on the Dome's website.
The Sun and volunteers came out to celebrate Green Tacoma Day 2024. People of all ages around Tacoma stepped up to give back to their community by digging in, literally.
We're here with Metro Park Tacoma to celebrate Green Tacoma Day.
Green Tacoma Day is about more than just digging holes and pulling weeds. It's about building connections. Neighbors meet neighbors. Families work side by side. And getting to know the places we call home a little bit better.
Green Tacoma Day is an annual event held on the second Saturday of every year, bringing the community together to connect with each other and to connect with nature by giving back in our parks to care for the green spaces. And here at Wright Park, we're putting 21 trees into the ground today to add to the Arboretum.
Stretching from Spanaway to Browns Point, dozens of neighbors joined in to be a part of something big. Whether it was planting trees, removing ivy, or helping restore habitat, young and old rubbed elbows and helped beautify their patch of neighborhood.
So today is Green Tacoma Day. It's an annual tree hugger holiday, I call it, and there are 13 sites around the city. We're here at China Lake Open Space, restoring habitat and just caring for this 1.5 acre open space, which is on the north end of China Lake Park, which is more famous because of the lake and the trails and whatnot. So The conservation crews have been working on this site since last spring, and so this is the planting kickoff, and we'll be caring for these trees for forever, pretty much.
A small act of service today means a cleaner, greener Tacoma tomorrow.
We typically work with the military population, so to come out here and give back to the community that we serve is important to us.
By restoring and protecting these spaces, we're helping to create healthier environments, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. Every tree planted, every weed pulled, every trail restored, it all adds up.
Make an impact that'll hopefully last next 100 years, provide some tree canopy for the future residents of Tacoma.
Green Tacoma Day is more than just a day of service. It's about building a stronger, more connected community. So why not join us next year? Because when Tacoma comes together, there's nothing we can't grow. Reporting for Tacoma Report, I'm Mike Ziak.
If you didn't make it out to Green Tacoma Day, there's another opportunity for you to help green up Tacoma. The city's tree coupon program kicked off earlier this month, and as it turns out, fall is a great time to plant a tree.
So the tree coupon kicks off in October because it's very mild weather and the trees actually spend a lot of time with their roots getting spread out and established in their new home before they go dormant for the winter, and then in spring they're all ready to wake up again.
The City of Tacoma partners with Tacoma Power and Pierce County Surface Water Management to provide tree coupons. Well-placed trees can enhance energy savings, remove pollutants from our waterways, improve air quality, and of course, add beauty to your landscape. But there are other things to keep in mind.
The tree needs to be in a 5-gallon or larger pot when you buy it. This is the 5-gallon pot. 2, you need to make sure the tree is going to get at least 15 feet tall at maturity, and that doesn't mean that it needs to be 15 feet tall when you buy it. It just means that in about 10 years, it will achieve a minimum of 15 feet or greater. And the third thing is that if you're buying this for a street tree for your parking strip and if there are any utility lines going across, you need to make sure the tree doesn't get any bigger than about 20 feet.
For a complete list of participating nurseries to use your coupon, go to thecitytacoma.org/tree coupon.
A neighborhood improvement plan gets an additional splash of color to teach Tacoma youth about protecting the Puget Sound. Mark McKittrick has more on the story.
We are right outside of Larchmont Elementary School, where a Pervious Pavement project has been done around the neighborhood and the school. So that's allowing filtration of the water to happen before it goes out into the Puget Sound.
Tacoma's Environmental Services Department received a grant from the Washington State Department of Ecology and has partnered with the Public Works Department and Tacoma Water to replace the streets and utilities in the Larchmont district of South Tacoma.
This is just a more environmentally healthy and friendly type of pavement, type of road. So on your regular street, when it rains, all that water is going to drain off into some catch basins. It's collected and then piped all the way, downstream, and eventually ends up in Puget Sound.
18 blocks of failing residential streets were replaced with permeable pavement, which acts as a filter system for the storm runoff, catching and remediating the water before entering the local aquifers and eventually flowing into the Puget Sound. As part of the project, 1% of the budget is designated towards an art installation that aims to educate the community, as well as inspire more environmental awareness to the area.
It was definitely an opportunity for me to learn more. I had no idea that anything that goes down the drain makes its way out into the Puget Sound. So it's been a way for me to help share that knowledge with community members in my own network. And so in that way, I feel like I'm constantly learning and have been grateful to be in this process. As the city is learning how to share that message out with the community.
The students and the project team conducted a nature walk along the school grounds and the project site to learn about the ecosystem and be inspired to write their own poems to be incorporated into the build.
I think it's been really beautiful to see the enthusiasm of the students to work on something that is happening right in their own community. Even this morning when we were introducing the students to what we would be doing today, one of the students was talking about how he and his sister walk to school, and so they check out the poems every time. they're on their way to school. And it's just a reminder for me that, you know, this is concrete, this is permanent, it's going to be here for a long time, and I hope that the students that have been involved in the process will be able to cherish the work that they put into it and feel some pride in it.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Mark McKittrick.
The historic Cushman-Adams substation redevelopment plan continues. Redevelopment is scheduled to begin when Tacoma Public Utilities vacates in 2027. The public is asked to share their vision October 21st in the Milgard Room on the UW-Tacoma campus, and on the 26th of October at the Wheelock Library on North 26th. Be sure to visit the website to get on the mailing list for project updates, workshops, and future events.
Good afternoon, Customer Support Center.
A decade plus 1 year of service excellence is something to celebrate, and that's exactly what the City of Tacoma is celebrating.
We are celebrating our 11th year of service, and we appreciate all that you have done to reach out to us and support our service. And I want to continue to encourage you to use the service, spread the word, and if there's anything that you have doubt of needing any city services, you can contact our office at 253-591-5000 or dial 311 from your cell phone or any landline within City of Tacoma limits. And we are here to assist you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And also 24/7 you can use our webpage, Tacoma First 311 at cityoftacoma.org. And you also can download our mobile app at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, Tacoma First 311. And you can utilize that app 24/7.
Tacoma First 311 Customer Support Center was recognized by the Council last year for 10 years of top-notch customer service to the community.
After the break, we'll talk to Brian Boudet with Home in Tacoma.
And later, we'll take you on a drive that won't be the regular grind. Stay with us.
After 2 years of development, community outreach, and deliberation, the Home in Tacoma legislative package is in the final stretch and headed for a vote of the City Council that's expected in November. The package includes a comprehensive update of zoning and building codes and standards to encourage more housing density, more missing middle housing choices, and more affordable housing development in our rapidly growing city. Brian Boudet from the city's Planning and Development Services Department is here today to give us an update. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks very much. Glad to be here.
All right. Well, let's get right into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. So, Brian, can you tell our viewers, how did Home in Tacoma get started?
Yeah, so this really goes back more than 5 years, where the City Council kind of recognized that the city was really struggling with affordable housing in particular, as housing prices have been going up pretty dramatically for now a couple of decades, really pinching residents in this city. And the move was really to look at what are all the various ways in which we can support more housing choice, more housing affordability, and more housing supply. So the council adopted an affordable housing action strategy a number of years ago, and it laid out really like 27 different strategies on how the city can really approach and try to make progress on housing affordability. And one of those was to look at the city zoning rules and recognize that our zoning history has really focused primarily on single family housing development in most of our neighborhoods. And we really need to look at providing more options in our residential areas in order to really address choice and really provide more affordability for folks.
Absolutely. And so, we do understand that the program covers many topics and changes to the city's zoning and building standards. So why is this needed, and why can't we just stick with the current plan that we have in place?
Yeah, so for most of Tacoma's history, we've been growing out. And we've gotten to a place now where we really can't grow out very much more. We're surrounded by cities, and most of the land in Tacoma has already been built on. And so our option is really to grow up. There's more people coming to the Puget Sound, there's more people coming to Tacoma, and in order to find space for them, we really need to provide opportunities for infill development in our existing neighborhoods. So another piece of this is really the state similarly has recognized this challenge and essentially mandated that cities, and particularly large cities like Tacoma, have to shift away from these single-family exclusive neighborhoods and allow more housing variety and more infill into community.
Okay, and can you also let our viewers know what is missing middle housing?
Yeah, so missing middle. So the middle part of it is essentially everything that kind of falls between traditional single family and big developments, you know, the big apartment complexes that you might see that have 100 or 200 units in them. So this is anything from duplexes, accessory dwelling units, like which also called mother-in-law units, triplexes, really everything up to about 10 or 20 units. And they call it missing middle because it's a type of housing that if you go back 100 years was fairly common in communities like Tacoma, and we have it in places, but for a long portion, really we just built little stuff, single family, and big stuff, big apartment buildings. And so for much of the development history of the community, you really don't find this sort of mid-scale of residential development. So that's why they call it missing. It's the missing middle.
Gotcha. So now, Brian, we know that over the course of the past couple of years, there's been a lot of community outreach, feedback, and based on what the community has shared, what changes have been made?
Yeah, so this, like I say, really starting 5 years ago, but particularly over the last 2 years as we've been working on the zoning and the development standards to try to implement the new policy that council adopted, there's really been an unprecedented level of community engagement as part of this process. So, you know, that has really influenced pretty significantly what is now before the City Council for their final consideration. We heard a lot of support. This project has a lot of change, and so there's no doubt there's a lot of support, and there's also a lot of concern from the community about what's in the package and what kind of change that might create in people's neighborhoods, you know, that's very sacred to them. So some of the big things that we heard from community concerns about ownership, about demolition of existing structures and trees, have really been some of the biggest themes that we heard from community. And the Planning Commission and the City Council and what's been put forward has really tried to put together a package that reflects and responds as best as it can to some of those concerns. So they've really made some changes to really promote ownership opportunities so that it's not all rental housing that gets built in this middle, in this missing middle, that it doesn't necessarily result in just complete demolition of structures all over the community. It's trying to infill new development into neighborhoods, and also that we try to preserve what's really important. So some of the existing housing stock, as well as existing important livability features like some of the big trees that we have in Tacoma.
Well, I love the idea that the community was able to provide feedback in order to recognize some of the changes and just to be a part of the process. So, you know, that's great that the community was able to provide that, and the department is using that feedback in this process. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's a huge thank you to the community really that came out. I mean, you know, thousands of pieces of input over, you know, a couple of years time period here that has had a dramatic influence in what is really before the council for their final look.
Absolutely. So Brian, final question, what's next and how can the community weigh in?
Yeah, so like I say, we've gotten a lot of input so far, but we're at a really critical point in the process. You know, after those couple of years of analysis and study and engagement, now the package is before the City Council, and so they get to make the final call on this whole thing. Right now, the schedule has them making their decision in mid-November, November 19th. And so I really invite folks to track along. You can definitely get a lot of information at the project website. But as it goes through the council process, people can still interact with their council members. People can come to those council meetings either in person or online and provide input. So really at two different opportunities coming up. The first one is October 29th. The council will be holding what they call first reading of the ordinance, and then also at the final reading when the vote will be taken, November 19th. Again, people can come to the council meeting and tell the council what they like or they don't like, or what they think should be changed.
Gotcha. So October 29th, and what time will that be?
Yeah, so the meetings start at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, okay.
Yep.
And then the second one, November
19th.
Same time.
5 o'clock also.
All right, awesome. Well, we appreciate you being on the show today, Brian. And we all know that affordable housing has been a challenge. So thank you to you and your team for everything that you're doing. And we look forward to seeing you back on the show for an update.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty.
Coming up, we'll be shifting gears. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Tacoma Report. For better or worse, the automobile made a significant contribution to the industries we have today. The first car in series production appeared in 1886 with German engineer Carl Benz credited for its creation.
Since then, one common fact holds for the internal combustion engine: the need for a transmission. Reporter Dave Gordon provides a somber farewell to this vital century-old component known as the manual transmission.
The manual transmission. Since the inception of the automobile, getting around required a clutch, a shifter, and coordination. LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma, houses more than 250 cars spanning over a century of automotive history, with many manual transmissions.
So for the first, 50, 60, 70 years of the automobile's history, everybody that got behind the wheel of a vehicle was driving a manual car with a clutch.
In its day, the mighty manual was what set America in motion. Then came the young upstart by the name of auto.
People wanted a more efficient, fuel-friendly car that, could be driven to work, could be driven with the family. What came with that was more automatic transmissions that were more fuel efficient.
Cruising America's roads was not for the weak of heart. Even modern-day drivers of a clutch transmission found frustration and annoyance at every corner, from climbing hills to just parking the car.
They're very annoying to drive. I have too many things to think about. My knee gets sore.
In 2024, the fleeting manual transmission did have some perks.
A manual transmission car is probably kind of theft resistant.
Someone can't break in and steal my car because not a lot of people know how to drive a manual transmission anymore, right?
The peak of the manual transmission hit in the 1980s during the gas crisis, when technology and innovation made the automatic supersede the manual.
Standard transmissions all of a sudden started to very quickly become a minority. And that was the inexpensive alternative to buying a car, right?
As things got cheaper and the quality increased, the efficiency of the automatic became the mainstay of internal combustion transportation. Automotive enthusiasts are finding even less selection of manual shifting. However, even automatic transmissions are getting challenged with new technologies.
What has emerged, we are all in suddenly with hybrids. All the manufacturers are switching gears, and if they have hybrids, they're now expanding them. If they don't have it, they are developing hybrids.
Does this mean goodbye to the third pedal and anything associated with the clutch and shifter? Only customers and the automotive industry will have the final say.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Dave Gordon.
October is Walk and Roll to School Month. This is a national event supporting and taking place at Tacoma schools celebrating walking, biking, scootering, or using a wheeled mobility device to go to school. Walk and Roll runs through the end of the month with still plenty of time to organize your own event with family and friends. Check out the city's mobility site for additional walk and roll options. With high winds comes falling trees and branches and possible power outages. There's a few things you can do, though, to be prepared. The first, visit the city's inclement weather page. It offers helpful tips and tricks for this winter weather season. Resources are available to residents who need to report the location of a downed tree, a power line, or a landslide in the right-of-way, or to report residential street flooding. In the event of a snowstorm, This page offers tips to prepare for winter weather, a link to the city's snow routes map, and a listing of weather-related street closures.
That wraps up this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org.
We leave you now in the orange fields of pumpkins ripening for Halloween. I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. Tons of pumpkins will get new faces with the thousands of goblins, ghouls, princesses, and superheroes roaming Tacoma streets later this month. Thank you for watching.